This week we're going to preview USDA's acreage and grain stocks reports that come out on Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time. We're also going to highlight the potential price volatility associated with those reports. Then we're going to go on and talk about crop conditions and progress here in the U.S. And we're going to wrap things up looking at harvest progress in Brazil. Hi, this is Brian Basting with Advanced Trading. Let's talk about the corn market. We moved into the last week of June here, and this market remains historically volatile. We're going to start out this week, however, talking about Friday's USDA acreage and grain stocks reports. What we're going to do now is highlight trade estimates for those reports. Again, two reports coming out Friday. Acreage report will update the 2024 acreage of corn compared to the March 31st acreage report that USDA came out with. And we're also looking at the June 1 grain stocks estimate. That only comes out 4 times a year. Keep a close eye on these estimates. That's a fairly narrow range for corn, on the acreage side especially. But here's the key message. We strongly encourage you to be prepared prior to the release of these reports and working in consultation with your trusted risk management advisor. Now let's move on and look at price volatility. This is historical price volatility on the day that those reports are released. Now, not every year, but frequently you can see here, there's a fair amount of price volatility. Notice, however, that it's to the upside and to the downside. Every year is different. So again, be prepared prior to the release of these reports. Let's move on now and look at crop conditions here in the U.S. Again, our weekly crop condition map here, the green circles imply improvement in good to excellent. Red circles imply deterioration. We did see some deterioration nationwide, 3 percentage points, but look at last year. It was only 50% good to excellent. This year it's 69%. Let's now take a look at the history of the crop condition index. Notice from that peak that we saw a month ago, it has declined for each of the past 3 weeks. However, it is still well above last year. Key point, look at that volatility throughout the growing season, both to the downside and to the upside. Now let's move on and look at crop progress here. We're looking at corn silking. Corn pollination here, as we reach the last week in June, has just started across the U.S. at 4%. Over the next 2 weeks, on average, between now and July 7th, corn silking increases approximately 11%. So we'll be looking around 15% around that 4th of July weekend. The big month, of course, is July, when nearly 75% of the corn will be pollinating. Of course, we're all interested in weather this time of year. Let's take a look at the short-term trends. Our slides this week, as usual, are courtesy of T-Storm Weather. Starting out here looking at the past 14 days, I'm sure you've all seen of the very difficult circumstances up in the southern part of Minnesota, parts of South Dakota, northern Iowa. On the news, you can see how wet it's been up there. Notice as we move further south and east, however, how dry it's been. Quite a contrast. Let's now look at the forecast for the next 2 weeks. Starting out here looking at the next 7 to 10 days, temperature-wise, cool in that north and eastern area. Move further south, much further south, it's going to be warm in the 90s and the 70s. So quite a divergence. Now let's look at rainfall. Rainfall this week, Thursday through Saturday. Most of that rainfall is going to be south of that area that we highlighted a moment ago that's extremely wet, maybe a half to an inch. Now let's look at next week, July 4th through the 8th. Now that rain moves back across those wet areas, and in the south it's much, much warmer. Let's quantify rain over the next 2 weeks. You can see there's no dry areas, with the exception of Texas, of course, where they're actually very close to, or actually early harvest down there. So across the Midwest, this is what's been pressuring the market as we move into the last week in June. Let's switch gears and briefly look at what's going on in Brazil. Now, these are the main production areas here in Brazil. Mato Grosso is the largest state in the north. Other key states, Goiás, Minas Gerais, Paraná, and Mato Grosso do Sul. Looking at progress here, most of the corn is maturing. Harvest is up to 28%. Notice in Mato Grosso, 40% harvested. So the harvest is faster than a year ago across most of those key states. Let's wrap things up looking at trends in December corn. Now, December corn, as we taped here on Tuesday, has fallen all the way below 450, near 445 a bushel. We continue to strongly encourage you to work closely with your trusted risk management consultant to manage price movement. Now, if you'd like more information, please feel free to contact us at 800-664-2321. We'll put you in contact with one of our risk management consultants who'd be happy to visit with you at your convenience. And remember, we upload every Wednesday. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss an upload. And remember, on Friday this week, we'll have a live YouTube update at 11 a.m. Central Time when the USDA releases the reports. And then we'll follow that up at 1:30 p.m. Central Time with a deep dive into the numbers. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.